MrBeast responded after months of silence, and it's genuinely not enough. It just feels manipulative to me, and I will explain you why. Honestly, with new updates and response coming so late, many people have already lost interest, and with so many allegations, people are confused whom to believe, whom to not, and MrBeast took advantage of the situation. He finally decided to respond when he saw viewers a little skeptical about Dogpack's credibility after Soggy Cereal's video, which he is using as scapegoat.
That's just kind of not my style, where I just kind of like put a lot of the information that I assume we're going to talk about here out, and it just felt weird. Yeah, I mean, truthfully, I've never been in a situation where people have thrown this much stuff at me, and I definitely could have handled it better. Like I probably, yeah. If I could go back in time, I would do what we're doing here, because I assume this is like the correct format. It's going to be a little bit more free flowing and natural, and I wouldn't have wasted so much time like trying to do a response. It's just not my thing. I like so much better, or I'm assuming.
He had multiple opportunity to talk about it in the same setup he is preferring to, as he is going around in different podcasts in this time frame. Like nothing happened. Why you don't want a full video in your channel discussing about these issues? Because you don't want your main audience to know about it, because a vast majority of your audience, which is huge, doesn't know about it.
Digitally lifted.
This car isn't digitally lifted, however they did change the original red coloring to blue to make a visual distinction between the first rocket car they launched and failed, which was red, and the second one they launched, which succeeded but was also red. Because they were scared that both cars being red might confuse the audience, so in post they just changed the second.
In Soggy's video, he definitely debunked some claims of Dogpack, but in some, it's just his words against Dogpack, without any proof. And it's clear that MrBeast's team was helping Soggy behind the scenes, and that's why it felt like he had a biased view. Anything MrBeast does is mistake or dumb teenager who doesn't know better.
As a dumbass, impulsive 19-year-old randomly thrown into fame, he went to his 19-year-old MrBeast didn't do background checks. Was that stupid? Yes. Is that US? I mean that when Jimmy was 19 and first started blowing up on YouTube? Yes. Should Jimmy take responsibility for making that mistake? Yes. It was a dumb mistake by an inexperienced adolescent starting up a business. For example, he tried using contestant 58 from the ages 1 to 100 video by claiming that he didn't really wink.
In this video, this wink was added in post.
And that number 58 didn't hear number 42 getting out of the booth.
In fact, 58 was actually on the far opposite side of the room from 42, and he just didn't hear him.
And because of that, number 58, a 58-year-old man, was so confused and getting harassed online to the point he felt that he had to make a TikTok about it.
Hey guys!
Obviously, he is not fully reliable, that's for sure, as multiple times he spread misinformation, and it wasn't a shocker for me, as nothing is pure black and white, just like movie hero and villain. It was evident he had a personal grudge against MrBeast, but still there's a lot of stuffs came out just because of Dogpack, like one lottery which was conducted still illegal, Nepal hospital philanthropy editing, crypto stuffs, etc.
They had so much disinformation in it. If anyone saw Soggy's video or any of the newer videos now coming out, like you would see so much. So much of it. So I mean, truthfully, I thought like if you watch Soggy's video or any of these other videos that are coming out now showing all the discrepancies, Soggy's video, he talked about this and uncovered it. I'm surprised more.
MrBeast literally took this video as his shield, going around putting it as his evidence and backing his claims through the video. MrBeast knows whom to use, like how he chose more Pegasus for the interview but changed mind overnight. I'm sure he sensed Pegasus might put Jimmy at risky situation, as he's fully covered the drama and knows too much. While Umpaville wasn't too much involved but commented on few occasions, even then he didn't give him much time to prepare for the interview. That's why he missed so much. Like the question I'm most concerned about and the whole reason for all the drama starting, Eva situation. Was he aware of Eva involving with minors and her deranged behavior the whole time they were working together and as best friend? He didn't raise these questions, but was questioned him about the Antichrist allegations. Like what the hell? The next biggest talked allegations against Mr. Beast was about the Delaware situation where he hired a registered sex offender in his company, which is predominantly famous for producing child content. So Mr. Beast defended by saying he wasn't called Delaware because of history of crime in Delaware. He had that name beforehand.
I mean, videos with tens of millions of views collectively, claiming I called a guy Delaware because he committed a crime in Delaware. Like, that is not true. His name was just Delaware. I didn't, call him Delaware to make fun of him or anything. And, I mean, I'm sure you're going to ask about it later, but there's literally, he was in a video before I hired him working at Best Buy wearing a name tag that said Delaware. And that was public information. And anyone could have saw that.
But that's not the point. I mean, they did say this, but not as facts. See, Jake Weddle and the recording both weren't presented or stated by Talkback as evidence. Even Jake Weddle said, apparently. Those could just be company rumor, and as outsider, we can't really speculate anything more than that. But the main point is Jimmy hired a registered sex offender and kept him around knowingly, which he says is a dumb mistake. He did as a dumb teenager who doesn't know what background check is. But then you grew, right? Your company grew, right? And your employees knew, judging by those rumors, and you were also aware of after a point because you were hiding him through mask.
That tweet, the first thing I did was called my mom and I was like, hey, this is 7 or 8 years ago. Just put this in context. 7 or 8 years ago, not indicative of my company today, but I was like, did this happen? Because someone's claiming this happened. My mom said, I would have literally quit or honestly probably shut the business down before I ever let my teenage son hire a registered sex offender knowingly.
Why didn't your mom thought of background check? She knows that knowingly letting her teenage son to hire an RSO is bad. So she just choose not to know. As long as you don't know, it's not bad. So why don't you just share all the timeline? Like, why did you hire him? When did you hire him? When you got to know about the RSO thing, and when and why you fired him? Oh, you can't because of employee privacy and confidentiality regarding it. But you were quick to share the audio of Talkback getting fired.
At the start of one of our Beast Philanthropy videos, they were trying to show what this building looked like in the past. And in the past, that hospital wasn't there. So they removed it in the editing, which, and this is just a small part of this isn't even the point of the video was that we built this hospital or whatever. There was just a shot at the beginning. But some people saw that and thought we did build it, which is not the intention. And
well, it is put up that way that most of people perceive it that way. So that's also your fault. And as you were saying, if even the video isn't about it, then why did you find necessary to share those CGI images? And everything is getting swept under the rug as dumb mistake.
Yeah. Next question. Dumb.
Yeah.
The answer, dumb. Yes.
Okay. That's fair. Yeah, I guess.
And so it's just a dumb mistake. I honestly, truthful, dumb mistake. I agree. That's a dumb thing to do.
Yeah.
I do.
Philanthropy you do does help a lot of people. And I won't deny that. But it's also clear to me that you don't actually care about the philanthropy part. You care about the good PR it brings. Just how this video recently you published. You didn't even care to read the NGO's name, which is Udayan Care. But you were constantly saying it as Udayan Care. Do you not know how to say care? It's written. But you were saying care in broken English. That's how least you care about spreading good work.
This was the start of the Udayan Gar Home program, where
In any game show or contest, if you change actual contestant with your employee to change or modify the outcome of the game, and that's rigged, which could be illegal in many cases, but I don't know the exact laws of YouTube regarding this.
100 girls versus 100 boys for $500,000.
Yes. On the day, everybody had to go for COVID tests, and a lot of people came, got their COVID tests, and they tested positive. And the girls somehow ended up with way too little contestants. So I got a call randomly from the studio, and they're like, we need a female. I'm like, well, I am a female. I guess I could do this 100-hour challenge.
And when things like this happen, why didn't you put a disclaimer? Cause that ain't legit game anymore. Also, why not put your employees as volunteer player for those who couldn't play, rather than pretending to giving away money to legit contestants?
Well, I mean, yeah, I just told him, like, hey, Gary, like, in transparency, Gary called me about CryptoPunks and said they were cool, look into it. I mean, so at the end of the day, bro, I don't fucking know. Like, I don't know which punks to buy or which ones we should buy if it's a good investment. Like, that's why I, put the money in a fund and had professionals managing it.
Gotcha.
He didn't pick what punks to buy or anything, but it takes actual 2 fucking minutes to look for yourself.
I had some that like whatever 20-30x.
What's a
we bought a lot with like the cigarettes because I thought that was an interesting attribute, and those did pretty well.
What's another character?
He's contradicting himself, so either that statement was a lie or this one is. And personally, I think the latter one is a cover-up. This whole interview was embarrassing, where he constantly trying to buy time by saying things like, "That's a great question. I'm glad that you are asking this question, so I can put it out there." Constantly yapping while answering yes or no questions, dodging accountability by saying, "I'm not the bad person, people have done worse. I didn't do it, someone else from my company did it." This whole interview could have really been beneficial for him if he took the L and took responsibility rather than giving excuses in his defense. MrBeast image has always been associated with the charity guy, responsible one. So obvious thing people will criticize you for every shading thing you associate yourself with. And new news of another lawsuit against MrBeast dropped. And it's from another ex-employee, Brittany Carter. She is alleging that she is owed unpaid wages, overtime, and damages under labor laws. According to the lawsuit, Brittany is making $10,000 a month, paid monthly by, and her compensation included an apartment provided by the company. But here's the problem. She wasn't considered an official employee, meaning she didn't get any employee benefits, but she also wasn't restricted from working for other companies. Now there's a screenshot of lawsuit going around and it says Brittany Carter versus MrBeast LLC. Comes now plaintiff Brittany Carter complaining of defendant MrBeast YouTube LLC alleges and says the following. This is an action seeking to recover unpaid wages, overtime, compensatory damages, liquidated damages and attorney's fees from defendant for the violation of the Fair Labor Standards Act and the North Carolina Wage and Hour Act. As part of her compensation from defendant, the company provided Ms. Carter with an apartment through its housing license. Ms. Carter was paid $10,000 per month on a bi-monthly basis. According to the agreement, Ms. Carter was not to receive employee benefits of any kind or nature. Further, according to the agreement, Ms. Carter was not restricted from working for or providing services to any other third parties unless such work or services would prohibit her from fully performing the services contemplated under this agreement. The agreement also stated that Ms. Carter will not be expressively or impliedly hold herself out to any third party as an agent of defendant. That's another hard slap in the face of MrBeast charity image guy. And personally for me, I never watched his videos, but in future, I won't have any respect for him, as he is friends with Logan Paul, who is literal scammer and have multiple victims of his scam. And that's it for this video. I hope you agree with my points, and if you don't, let me know in the comments. Bye bye.